Hello, this is Joe Pearson, the project planner for this application. This is a request to the city to enter into a maintenance agreement and relinquishment agreement for a Caltrans access road and to provide a notice of intent to vacate a utility easement located at 2700 and 2750 Ventura Road. This application was filed by Jonathan K. Cornelius of For Property. There are four requests before the council. The first request is to adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager or designee to finalize the negotiations and execute a state highway relinquishment agreement with Caltrans. The second request is to authorize the city manager or designee to finalize negotiations and to execute a maintenance agreement for the access road with the adjacent property owners. And the third request is to adopt a resolution declaring the city's intent to vacate a utility easement. And the last action is to find the above actions exempt from CEQA. And I will provide further detail on each of these requests as I move through this presentation. Starting with the location of the access road. The access road is located in the northern part of the city within the River Park area and is currently an existing access road, which provides access to existing Caltrans stormwater facilities, as well as the bicycle overcrossing. The utility easement is located on the vacant property at 2700 and 2750 Ventura Road. And this site is the future location of the four apartments project, which I will touch on more later in the presentation. Starting with some background, the River Park Specific Plan area was adopted by City Council in 2002. 7 previous amendments have been made to the River Park Specific Plan since it has been approved. The most recent amendment was completed in April 5th, 2022. This new specific plan allowed for up to 4,068 dwelling units, or approximately 2 million square feet of commercial development, depending on the development options chosen. Also, as it relates to the property at 2700 and 2750 Ventura Road, in 2008, City Council adopted an ordinance approving a development agreement between the owners of the project site and the city of Oxnard. This agreement has been amended on 2 previous occasions, with the most recent coinciding with the specific plan amendment, and was approved on April 5th, 2022. Under the most recent amendment, the property owners agreed to enter into a maintenance agreement for the access drive and road located just north of Highway 101 and to the east of Ventura Road with the city of Oxnard. As previously mentioned, the project site is the location of the 4 apartments at River Park. This project was originally received in 2019 and was submitted under a development design review permit, which would allow for the development of a 333 unit apartment project. This application was dependent upon the amendment to the River Park specific plan. The amendment, as previously mentioned, was approved on April 5th, 2022, and it allowed for an increase in the maximum number of units allowed within the specific plan area by allowing for high density housing in 3 new locations. The 4 project represents the first development in one of those 3 project locations. As a result, the permit was able to move forward under the amended River Park specific plan. And on April 23rd, the Community Development Director approved a development design review permit for the construction of the 4 projects. However, subsequent to the for-project approval, an appeal of the Community Development Director's decision was filed on May 31st, 2022. This appeal is still pending. However, City Council may proceed with the requested actions as they only authorize the city manager to enter into the agreement subject to final negotiations. On June 2nd, 2022, the Planning Commission reviewed the request to acquire the access road and to vacate the 38-foot wide utility easement along the frontage of the two parcels located at 2700 and 2750 North Ventura Road for general plan conformity as required by Government Code 65402. The Planning Commission unanimously, with one commissioner absent, adopted the resolutions of approval, finding both actions in conformance with the 2030 general plan. With regards to the access road, the two requests are to enter into a relinquishment agreement with Caltrans for the acquisition of the access road and to enter into a maintenance agreement with the property owners of 2700 and 2750 North Ventura Road to transfer the maintenance of the access road to the property owners. In early 2022 or early 2020, shortly after the submission of the FOR project, city staff began discussions with the future developer of the FOR project and Caltrans regarding the transfer of the access road to the city in support of the proposed project. As mentioned above, the acquisition of the access road is integral to the design of the FOR project as it is necessary to provide for adequate emergency access around the perimeter of the project site. Additionally, east of the FOR project site, further down the access road, is the Oakmont Senior Facility. The Oakmont development currently has a gate to access the existing access road along its northern property line. However, as it is not city right-of-way, access could be removed by Caltrans. This access point was critical for the Oakmont development as it provides a necessary secondary fire access point. The city's acquisition of the access road would ensure long-term secondary fire access to the project. Therefore, the acquisition of this access road would both support the development of the FOR project and ensure secondary fire access is maintained to the Oakmont development process. Both the city of Oxnard and Caltrans required environmental assessments of the access road property. At both the city and Caltrans request, the developer prepared a phase 1 initial site assessment and phase 2 environmental site assessment for the access road. The purpose of the phase 1 was to identify potential or known hazardous materials, hazardous waste, and contamination in the project area, as well as to identify recognized environmental conditions. The purpose of the phase 2 was to evaluate potential environmental impacts associated with historical agricultural activities at the project site and nearby properties, as well as to evaluate potential impacts associated with import fuel material identified at the site. The phase 1 primarily involved a site surface survey and review of available literature. Based on the findings of the products, and therefore no additional assessment was recommended. However, out of an abundance of caution, the city also required the preparation of the phase 2. The phase 2 included coring and collection of soil samples from adjacent to and beneath the access road. The assessment ultimately concluded that given the low levels of contamination found in the site, no further environmental assessments of the access road was required. Both of the assessments were peer-reviewed by the city's environmental consultants on behalf of the city, and the city's consultants were in agreement with the conclusions of the assessments. And city staff agreed that they were sufficient for the city's acquisition of the access road. The proposed relinquishment agreement between Caltrans and the city of Oxnard would allow for the transfer of the access road to the city and lays out the requirements for the transfer. Specifically, the agreement as drafted would require the city to maintain the access road in perpetuity and provide an access easement to Caltrans in perpetuity, as well as to widen the access road and to restrict the access road to use only by garbage trucks, emergency vehicles, the city of Oxnard, and Caltrans. The city and Caltrans are currently in final negotiations regarding the form of the agreement, and therefore city staff is requesting that the city manager or a designee be given authority to finalize the negotiations with Caltrans regarding the terms of the agreement. With regards to the proposed maintenance agreement between the property owner of 2700 and 2750 North Ventura Road and the city of Oxnard, the agreement would transfer the maintenance of the access road to the property owners of 2700 and 2750 North Ventura Road. And specifically, the agreement as currently drafted would require the owners of the property to maintain the access road in perpetuity, including maintaining the guardrails and fences along the access road, as well as any gates constructed as part of the 4 apartments project in good order and condition. This would include making any necessary repairs, replacement, and renewals in accordance with prudent industry standards or as may be required by any applicable governmental authority. The city and the developer are currently in final negotiations regarding the form of the agreement, and therefore city staff is requesting that the city manager or designee be given authority to finalize negotiations with the developer regarding the terms of the agreement. Moving to the access easement, the applicant is requesting that the city vacate a city-owned access or city-owned easement located at 2700 and 2750 North Ventura Road. The easement to be vacated consists of a 38-foot wide utility easement totaling approximately 33,409 square feet, running along the frontage of the 2 properties as shown. The city's 23rd General Plan land use designation for 2700 and 2750 Ventura Road is commercial regional, and the zoning designation is River Park Specific Plan. The land use designation and zoning both allow for retail, commercial, government, and residential uses. Vacating the 38-foot wide utility easement located along the frontage of the 2 parcels would not alter public safety, convenience, and public welfare, as the 4 apartment River Park project is conditioned to provide a 16-foot public right-of-way dedication. There will be sufficient space provided for the placement of the public utilities within the new and existing public right-of-way. The proposed vacation of the easement was reviewed by city staff as part of the 4 apartments at River Park project, and the easement was found to no longer be needed with the new dedication. The easement would not be vacated until the new dedication was provided. Pursuant to the California Environmental Quality Act, it can be seen with certainty that there is no possibility that the proposed acquisition of the access road, including the proposed agreements, and the vacation of the 38-foot wide utility easement would have a significant effect on the environment. And staff recommends that City Council accept a notice of exemption for the proposed request. Additionally, all physical improvements and environmental impacts associated with the development of the residential project, including the improvements to the adjacent access road, were analyzed as part of the entitlement process. And the development and uses associated with the residential project were determined to be covered by the River Park EAR and subsequent addenda by the Community Development Director. Therefore, based on the information provided in the staff report and in this presentation, City staff recommends that the City Council adopt the resolution authorizing the city manager or designee be given authority to finalize the negotiations and execute a state highway relinquishment agreement by and between the state of California, acting through its Department of Transportation, and the city of Oxnard, and authorize the city manager or designee to be given authority to finalize the negotiations and to execute a maintenance agreement for the access road by and between the city of Oxnard and the property owners of 2700 and 2750 Ventura Road. And adopt a resolution declaring its intent to vacate (409 square feet) located along the frontage of the two parcels at 2700 and 2750 Ventura Road, code 2022 at 6 p.m. in the City of Oxnard Council Chambers. And lastly, find the project exempt from environmental review pursuant to CEQA guidelines section 15061.